All right. So as we're getting things started here for the pinning, we'll need all the pinners to come to the right side of the stage. So if you're looking towards us, just come to the right side over here where I'm waving an iPad, and they'll get you set up to go.
Please, please rise for our graduates. All right, you may be seated. Welcome to Mountain Empire Community College's Nursing Program Pinning Ceremony in 2023. We are so excited to have you here this evening and to honor you graduates. Nursing is one of the most difficult professions in the world, and you all have shown amazing perseverance. You've given time, you've given effort, and Dean Dorton reminded me again this evening that you've done this in half the time that it would take if you did it at a university. And the rigor, the amount of dedication that you had to put into that, the amount of perseverance that your faculty had in getting you to this point and ready to become registered nurses is truly amazing. So congratulations to you all. Welcome to the families. Thank you so much for supporting these folks. It's my pleasure to introduce Deborah Clarkston, our program coordinator.
I too want to welcome you here, and I want to salute all of the folks that have supported these students as they have gone through for several years because they took it slowly because of work and other obligations. Some of them sped through. They started last summer and now they're graduating, and that had its own set of challenges. So we do thank all of you for coming and attending and supporting our students. I also want to introduce some guests that we have here today. We have, of course, our faculty that are over here, sitting over here. Will you all please stand as I announce your name? Kristen Clark, who is our newest faculty member. Then we have Donna Klusman. Amanda Davis. Mandy Robbins. And Debbie Wright. And we have a particularly exciting thing that the students do and they really enjoy doing, and that is going to the simulation lab where they can practice before they actually work with patients, and that is very nice for them. In addition, we can't always get all situations for them to practice, and so they can do that in a simulation lab. And our instructor for that is Kim Rasnick. Some other instructors that we have here with us today, I hope they got to come with some of our adjunct instructors. If you're one of the adjunct instructors, would you please stand? I bet you they're working as nurses. What do you all think? Preceptors. So we are very much indebted to those folks that help us out. I passed over our Dean of Health Sciences, and that is Kim Dorton, and I took a minute to do that. The reason I did that is Kim has announced her retirement, so we'll be losing her, but Scott County is gaining her because she says she wants to do a lot of work in her community when she retires. So our loss is Scott County's gain. So we do appreciate all. At this time, I'd like to introduce our speaker, and it's with great pleasure I do so, because she was a student of mine once upon a time. And I learned a long time ago not to read to intelligent people. So her bio is in there, and I'm more excited to hear from her than to stand here and list all her accomplishments for you all when you all can read them. So they're right there in front of you. And so if you would welcome Dr. Christine Mullins. She's going to share what her experiences have been since she graduated from Mountain Empire Community College.
Good evening, everyone. Happy Nurses Week. My name is Christine Mullins, and I'm an alumni from Mountain Empire Community College, Virginia Appalachian Tri-College Nursing Program, class of 2002. I'm honored to be here today to tell you my story about nursing and my journey, and hopefully inspire each of you in this beautiful profession. As I see each of you, your families, friends, faculty, and administration smiling today, it brings me back to the beginning of my nursing education. I recall the studying, the lectures, tests, labs, return demonstrations, and all the worry and stress that I had to become a registered nurse. So I'll tell you a little bit about my journey through fear, and my journey to becoming Dr. Mullins. I was born and raised in Big Stone Gap, and I came from a divorced family with low income. My father had a 7th grade education, and he was a coal miner and struggled to stay employed in the mining industry in my adolescent years. My mother was a high school graduate, and after divorce, my mother was in and out of physical and mentally abusive relationships where drugs and alcohol were involved. As a teen, I lived with my dad, my mom, my grandmother, and my aunt, each periodically and never in one place for too long. And financially, I grew up poor. I qualified for free lunch. My mother received government assistance, and I always lived in a mobile home or apartment. And don't get me wrong, I had the things that I needed, but not everything that I desired, especially as a teen. In 1992, I moved to Pound, Virginia, and I finished my junior and senior year of high school. I started at 16 as a cashier, and I decided college really wasn't for me. And I quit going. I didn't even drop my classes, so I got all Fs. I believe at one point my GPA was less than 2, and he didn't have time to study, and so he stopped going to Mountain Empire and said, "Chrissy, you go try it, and when you finish, I'll go back." I didn't know much about nursing. I had a cousin who was an OB nurse I remember my grandmother talking about, praising her adventures in OB. Her name was Toni Williams Bowers. She's a MECC alumni. My best friend's sisters were nurses, Lisa Fleming and Tammy Branham, both MECC alumni, who are now nurse practitioners. And I also had 3 exceptional nurses who taught my childbirth classes and helped me through labor and delivery: Pam Bradley, Della Price, and Kelly Brooks. What I did know about nurses was that I admired them. They were exceptionally smart, very caring, and had a wide range of vocabulary, and I literally had no clue what this profession was going to bring for my life. I knew I needed a stable profession, a good income, flexibility so my kids didn't have to grow up poor, and I wanted to keep them here in Southwest Virginia. I needed a college close to home with flexible hours, and a university wasn't an option for me. In 1997, I got a weekend job as a server at Fishtails in Norton. I bought a Chevy Cavalier and I wrote a letter to Mountain Empire Community College explaining my situation to attempt to get back into school. They did accept me back. I received a Pell Grant, I got the Tobacco Regional Scholarship, and I registered for classes. I had family members who said, "Chrissy, why do you want to start this? You know you'll never finish." And that statement put a drive in me, and it still resonates today. I'll do this, and you watch me. In 1997, I began my journey at Mountain Empire. I had to take high school algebra and chemistry because my grades were poor in high school. Some of my favorite courses at Mountain Empire were the information technology courses. I had Miss Terry Lane, and she was my cheerleader and my shoulder to cry on here at Mountain Empire. She still continues to be one of my biggest supporters. In 2000, I was accepted into the nursing program, and in 2 short years, I transitioned from a cashier, server, mommy, and wife to a healthcare professional in 2 short years. And while in my first year of nursing, my paternal grandfather was diagnosed with stomach cancer, and the doctors found his cancer too late, and surgery didn't help. And I remember him telling me while he was on hospice, "Chrissy, I'm so proud of you. Don't ever quit. Keep going. Finish. You can do it." As a nursing student, I got to care for my grandfather on hospice in my aunt's home using skills that I learned here at Mountain Empire, and what an honor it was to care for him in my aunt's home in his time of need. At Mountain Empire, I applied and was accepted to the AmeriCorps Ambassador Scholar Program, which allowed nursing students to work, earn a stipend, and get a scholarship after 1 year of service. I was assigned to work with a school nurse at Powell Valley Middle School, Miss Marsha Christian. And there I learned first aid, caring for children, addressing social needs, and the role of the school nurse. At the end of the program, I was given the 2001 Outstanding Community Service Award and a $1,500 scholarship to further my education at a school of my choice. In 2002, I completed the nursing program here at Mountain Empire at 26 years old, and our nursing class was invited to a job fair in Bristol, Holiday Inn, Exit 7, and I was so scared. My stomach was in knots going in there to talk to them, and a nice lady, Miss Kathy Mornings, came up to me, and she was from the 6th floor at Holston Valley. She asked me my name and what my career goals were, and I told her I wanted to start out on a med-surg floor and learn the basics of nursing and hopefully work with experienced as nurse so I could grow professionally. And after briefly speaking with her, she hired me as a nurse extern. Once I passed my boards, that's where I began my career on med-surg telemetry, 6th floor at Holston Valley. Within the first few weeks that I was there, I had my first experiential lesson that I learned. At Mount Empire, I learned in pharmacology about Keynote. It's a drug that's given for hyperkalemia or high potassium, and it works by lowering potassium through the GI tract. I got report on day shift. The night shift nurse had already given this drug, and I was making my rounds, and the call light went off. I went into the room where the lady had KX-late, and of course she had to go to the restroom because it works pretty fast. I pulled her covers back and carefully transitioned her to her feet out of bed, and as she turned with me behind her, I was covered from the waist down. I had runny brown poo all the way down to my white leather nursing shoes. And that experiential lesson taught me 3 things. Number 1 is you never get behind a patient with an open gown. You can call housekeeping when you need new scrubs, and always keep a spare pair of shoes in your locker for emergencies. So right now, each of you have a lot of book knowledge and know how to take a test, and as you advance in your career in nursing, you'll gain a lot more experiential knowledge. And I encourage you to share this experience with others, precept new students, and teach them what you know and help one another. During my time on the 6th floor, I quickly learned to locate and read policies and procedures to manage my patients safely. I remember having my first patient with seizures and having to administer IV Dilantin. And I remember learning about tissue necrosis if there was infiltration but I didn't remember all the other details. And after reviewing the policy and procedure, I knew I needed a large bore needle above the hand and an infusion tubing with a micron filter, and a patient needed to be on telemetry, and when I needed to monitor vital signs frequently. And I can remember how scared I was every time I had to give a medicine that I wasn't familiar with. But I did it because my patient needed me. During the first few weeks, I learned to call physicians and advocate for patients and families when needed, and I probably drove my coworkers crazy because I would ask every question possible to learn my role. I can remember reporting findings to residents or medical students on the floor, and they'd say, "What's your experience with that?" And I'd be like, "I am new." So either then I would have to reach out to another experienced nurse, or they'd have to reach out to their attending. But we always ended up managing the patient's care efficiently. It's a team effort, so make sure that you are using your resources and work together. I quickly transitioned from a baby nurse to a junior nurse in about a year. So does everyone remember reading about the nursing theorist, Dr. Patricia Benner? Novice to expert? That's true in all levels of nursing. Coming out of school, you'll begin with some knowledge, no experience. You'll become a novice, and then you'll transition from competent to proficient, and eventually becoming an expert over time, where you'll then be able to teach others. So keep that in mind each time you feel inadequate, unsure, scared. Proficiency will come with persistence and time and experience, and always remember to be patient with yourself. I remember on the floor having times where I didn't know exactly what to do in situations, being so scared, but remaining calm for my patients. And each time I'd clock in, I identified my team, my shift leader, charge nurse, house supervisor, and these are the folks I reached out for when I needed help. I memorized the pharmacist's phone number. They were a wealth of quick information. And each shift, I reviewed the code team and my role. So always know your emergency plan and know your emergency codes. I can remember all the emotions I felt when I had my first patient code, my first patient pass away, providing post-mortem care. I remember learning to talk to families who were sending their loved ones to long-term care or hospice, and discharging patients and families, teaching them about their home medications, dressing changes, disease processes, insulin injections, oxygen use. Sometimes I was teaching patients and families right after I learned the information myself, and I can remember being so scared. As a staff nurse, I quickly learned to be a leader, communicating with the CNAs to ensure that patients were cared for efficiently, reviewing vital signs, intake and output, specimen needs, and communicating care changes occurring throughout the day. Most importantly, I became a good listener. When your team alerts you to a problem, pay attention. Do your assessment, make a plan, intervene, and evaluate for improvements. Use that nursing process and listen to your patients and families, because most times they're going to know that patient better than you do. After about 6 months at Wholesome Valley, I also learned the role of a charge nurse. The first time I was on the floor, as the most experienced nurse, I was so scared, and I did what needed to be done for my patient, my colleagues, and my unit. When asked to do something that's uncomfortable for you, remember that those experiences are going to help you grow. Your supervisor believes in you and thinks you're capable, or they wouldn't ask. And your patients need you, so just do it. During my time at Wholesome Valley, my husband, he went back to college at Virginia Highlands. He got his associate's degree in radiography, and he became an X-ray tech and still works here at Lonesome Pine today. So for 3 years, I worked on the 6th floor at Wholesome Valley, day shift and night shift, and then I transferred to Lonesome Pine in 2005. At Lonesome Pine, I worked as a staff nurse, a charge nurse. I worked day shift, night shift. I then became a case manager, did utilization review, and I became a clinical documentation specialist. And I love Lonesome Pine and made many friendships there that I still hold on to today. There, I decided to finish my undergraduate degree in nursing, and at that time, Wellmont had a collaboration with King College where I could sign a 3-year contract and my educational costs would be reimbursed. In December of 2006, I graduated with my BSN with $5,500 student loan debt. In 2006, my husband and I were able to purchase our first home. My boys got their own room for the first time. Through school, they played 6 sports, including travel ball. And because of nursing and community colleges, my family thrived. After earning my BSN, I still had a $1,500 scholarship that I could use. So in 2006, Lonesome Pine hired our first nurse practitioner who began working with our hospitalist. And I watched her transition from an expert RN to a novice nurse practitioner. Her name was Miss Shelley Hicks, also a VATNP graduate. I used my scholarship money to take an elementary statistics course at King College, and I applied for nurse practitioner school at King College and ETSU, just in case. I preferred King College because it was familiar to me. I knew where it was. It was an MSN program, and my goal was to work in primary care. However, I wasn't accepted to King, and I was so upset, but God knew where I was supposed to go and what my future needed. After about a week later, ETSU called me for an interview for their BSN to DNP program. I was so scared. I'd never been to their campus. I didn't know where to park. I didn't know which building to go to, and I had never interviewed in front of a team of faculty to go to school. After the interview, I was accepted into their very first BSN to DNP cohort of students, and I attended there for 3 years and graduated with a terminal degree in 2014, specializing in the FNP role. My DNP project focused on teaching discharge planners here in Southwest Virginia about the program of all-inclusive care for the elderly, the PACE referral process. And as a nurse practitioner, I've worked at Johnson City Community Health Center and the Health Wagon, Wise, Coburn, Clintwood, and the traveling mobile units. And today, I continue to practice with the Health Wagon in Wise and Clintwood on Tuesdays. I began my career at ETSU in 2014, serving as a training director and clinical coordinator on a $1.2 million HRSA grant for interprofessional education. I taught and led students to manage patients with multiple chronic conditions while working with 5 other faculty and student disciplines. Each day, I overcame my fear of not knowing enough or not being enough for my students or patients. However, this is where I found my love for teaching students. In 2016, I applied and was hired for a tenure-track faculty position in the graduate program at ETSU. I taught many courses. I've taught in the MSN and DNP program throughout the years, and ETSU has given me more opportunities than I could have ever dreamed of. In 2018, I was selected by the American Association of Colleges of Nursing to participate in the Apple Digital Innovation Bootcamp in Austin, Texas. In 2019, I was the recipient of the AACN Faculty Excellence Clinical Teaching Award. I've served on numerous college, university, state, national, and international committees to improve nursing education, and I've served in leadership roles. I've presented locally, regionally, nationally, and I'll present this summer internationally for the Rural Nurses Association. In 2021, I wrote and implemented a suicide prevention initiative, receiving $20,000 from Sigma Theta Tau, Nursing's Honor Society. And I've also mentored numerous DNP students with their quality improvement and evidence-based practice projects. I've published many articles and have helped students publish their work in peer-reviewed journals. I've had the opportunity to travel across the United States for different conferences for professional development. And in 2022, I was promoted from assistant to associate professor, and now I'm working towards full professor. I'm still scared. I'm scared standing here today. I still question, what if I'm not smart enough? Or good enough? What if they don't like me? What if I fail? Fail is the first attempt in learning. Even if you fail, you keep going, and don't take no for an answer. When you're advocating for those, you care for, do not take no for an answer. All that I've accomplished began here at Mountain Empire Community College an opportunity. I've been blessed with family, friends, employers, and faculty who have mentored and believed in me. I'll never forget sitting right here where you are today. Today, I hope I've inspired each of you to conquer your fear, to step forward, to make a difference, and to chase your dreams. Be a lifelong learner and don't let fear hold you back. Nursing is a wide array of opportunities: acute care, travel, home health, long-term care, academia, advanced practice, administration. The possibilities are endless. So do what you love and love what you do. In conclusion, I would like to thank you all for your attention and leave you with this quote from an unknown author. Be scared and do it anyway. Be underqualified and get in the room anyway. Be messy, imperfect, and unsure, but show up anyway. Comfort is the enemy of growth. Be uncomfortable. Embrace your fear and just do it. Do it for yourself, do it for your patients, and do it for everyone that you care about. A journey of 1,000 miles begins with a single step. Go forth and make us proud, and congratulations, class of 2023. Thank you.
All right, guys, you've got a lot to beat her. But you do it one step at a time, just as she outlined for you. So it's doable, your dreams can come true, and you can keep moving on. At this time, I would like to recognize some very special folks. And I want to make sure I get it in order, so just give me a second. That's the correct one. That's not. The faculty each year recognize some outstanding students. Now, first of all, we think all our students are great. So for them to decide on some that were outstanding is sometimes very, very difficult. The easiest one to do, though, is the outstanding academic performance, because we usually have some really stellar people, and that's what happened this year. We actually had two that were 4.0 in all their nursing classes. So this was really easy to do. And I want to award the first award, if they'll come to the stage, to Stephanie Santos. Stephanie and I traveled all over the world together, actually, just Great Britain, but we enjoyed it. The next award goes to Madison Yates. And I think we've got another Yates in the pipeline, is that right? We're looking forward to that. The next award is for the outstanding clinical performance. And that award goes to Amanda Chandler. And this next award is awarded by the faculty for the student that has impressed them with their professional behavior. And the winner this year is Nick Garant. I guess I can come over here. I've known Nick since he was a baby, so this was exciting to do. All right, you all came here to see your graduate be pinned, and so that's what we're going to do next. Debbie Wright is one of our faculty members. She's going to present the student with a rose. And yesterday, a representative from the Scott County Gideon's Camp, the Women's Auxiliary, called me, and she said, you know, we used to give New Testaments to the nursing students. And I said, yes, and we've missed you. It's been, what, about 3 years, hasn't it? Yeah. And so I was so glad that she reached out, because as we would gather to plan a pinning, we didn't know who to contact. So she reached us, and the Gideons will be giving out, the Women's Auxiliary of the Gideons Camp of Scott County will be giving out testaments for those that would like them. And that's Elizabeth Snap, Annette Horn, and Dawn Caston. Those ladies will be presenting the New Testaments across the way there. All right. Graduates, would the first row of graduates stand? And your pinners also stand and make your way. It'll just take them a moment, but if we don't do it in the right order, there will be strangers pinning other people. Shasta Adams will be pinned by Katrina Bowman, her mamaw. Kelly Aldridge will be pinned by Shane Aldridge, her husband. Donald Ball will be pinned by Joanne Ball, his mother. Angelica Grace Barnett will be pinned by Angela Barnett, her mother. Brandy Belcher will be pinned by Braxley Belcher, her son. Chastity Boggs will be pinned by Blake Boggs, her husband. Jasmine Bowen will be pinned by Tanya Bowen, her mother. Natasha Carpenter will be pinned by Taylor Carpenter, her daughter. Amanda Chandler will be pinned by Kaylee King, her friend. Alyssa Clark will be pinned by Patty Cope, her mother. Crystal Clark will be pinned by Nathaniel Ramey, her son. Justin Clark will be pinned by Lanny Clark, his father. Ashton Darnell will be pinned by Jacob Darnell, her husband. Megan Duncan will be pinned by Lynn Darnell, her mother. Hannah Fields will be pinned by Melinda Fields, her mother. Maggie Gatley will be pinned by Amy Greer, her mother. Donna Goins will be pinned by Joshua Goins, her husband. Nicholas Garant will be pinned by Donna Garant, his mother. Michaela Faith Hankins will be pinned by Donna Sparks, her grandmother. Joanna Haynes is going to be pinned by Bruce Hayes, her father. Chelsea Marie Heron will be pinned by Tony Heron, her mother. Lauren Halvey will be pinned by Kaylee King, her friend. Amber Kelly will be pinned by Charlene Kelly, her mother. Jennifer Kennedy will be pinned by Addison Kennedy, her daughter. Kagan Lane will be pinned by Carla Osborne, her mother. Mariah Lane will be pinned by Cole Lane, her husband. Brooke Light will be pinned by Olivia Light, her sister. Elizabeth Jane Reynolds will be pinned by Rachel Ivana Reynolds, her daughter. That's all right, we can do that. Alexis Miranda Sampson will be pinned by Eric William Tipton, her husband. Stephanie Santos will be pinned by Addison Santos, her daughter. Lauren Harkleroad Short will be pinned by Gail Harkleroad, her mother. Susie Skidmore will be pinned by Katie Ann Skidmore, her daughter. Jacqueline Stewart will be pinned by Briley Middleton, her daughter. Selena Stewart will be pinned by her husband, Jason Stewart. Lindsay Strange will be pinned by Logan Mullins, her fiance. Gregory Spencer Sweeney will be pinned by Vicki Sweeney, his mother. Emily Tremblay will be pinned by Karen Daughtery, her mother. Whitney White will be pinned by Carrie White, her mother. Abby Aaliyah Williams will be pinned by Kelsey Williams, her sister. Chastity Nicole Worley will be pinned by Tiffany Boggs, her partner. Madison Brooke Yates will be pinned by Heather Yates, RN, her mother. We'll give the students and pinners an opportunity to walk around and sit down. At this time, I would like to introduce Amanda Davis. She is going to lead the graduates in the International Pledge for Nurses.
If everyone would please open your program to the page for the International Pledge for Nurses, and I ask that all graduates stand and salute. We place our hand on our heart. And if there are any other nurses in the audience who would like to participate, we invite you to do so as well. So please recite along with me. In full knowledge of the obligations I am undertaking, I promise to care for the sick with all the skill and understanding I possess, without regard to race, creed, color, politics, or social status. I will respect at all times the dignity and religious beliefs of the patients under my care, holding in confidence all personal information entrusted to me and refraining from any action which might endanger life or health. I will endeavor to keep my professional knowledge and skill at the highest level and give loyal support and cooperation to all members of the healthcare team. I will do my utmost to honor the International Code of Ethics applied to nursing and to uphold the integrity of the nurse.
You may be seated. I'm just going to echo the words of your ATI person that came and did the review. What did she say you could do after today? No, she said you could celebrate for how long? You can celebrate for a week. And then dig into those books and study for how long? 2 hours a day. Very good. I'm going to let her know that you remembered everything she told you. Take everything that you have experienced these last few years and grow from it. Christy said something about, failure is just the first step to succeeding. And I seen somewhere the other day that you never lose if you learn. So if you go into a situation and it doesn't come out the way you want it to, learn from it and move on and do better and gain and do more and help other people come behind you. I've appreciated working with you all. You've been a pleasure. I've learned a lot from you. I've traveled the world with a couple, 2, 3 of you, and it's just hate to see you go, but at the same time, I'm excited for what you're going to be achieving. So everyone, let's salute these graduates. Are they supposed to file out? I have been off campus for a little bit and I don't know. So we're just going to go out and celebrate like at the end of a big football game, right? Okay.